Well,
you gotta.
I think under the circumstances today, you'll be okay.
Bob's got a hat.
To wear the hat. That's right. There's a few others too, I think.
So you would get pretty good,
Yeah,
Jim?
not too bad.
Yeah, good, good.
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Oh, yeah, good.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's behind
Holy smoke.
Slowly's hard. Thank you.
What's the hair look like? It's pretty wet.
That's
Yeah,
good.
mine is too.
Okay. Oh, looks good. It's so bright.
Yeah?
Oh,
There,
I just
we're all
got a
done.
great big drop on my eyebrow.
Are you taking a picture, Linda?
Yeah, I got one.
Rob is taking a moving picture over there, so you can keep on moving. Are you done?
No, just a minute. I did something screwy.
Well, that's yours.
That would be the first time.
Oh, I was wondering. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Okay, guys.
There's a couple here, Marcia, that we couldn't stand back up because they were in such bad shape. So I think that's what I was telling you about at your meeting that day, that we had the box built. My husband built the box, put a bed of sand down, then the stone and the stone on top of it, and had this made because it was very difficult to read. And the one up at the
Because we have got ones that are like that.
as a ground mold. That one is not. This one up here was more on a slant and then ground. Fellas here that fought in the War of 1812. That would be supposed to be he saw Ezekiel, and he's had a rough week. Because I just got plaques on yesterday. And that's on him.
Yeah, oh yeah. The young lad, he did a lot of water work.
Ortiz done.
He died in a hospital there.
Yeah.
The deal was that they weren't going to bring him back.
Yeah. So anyhow, I ended up by putting it down as that's where his burial is, and that's what I've got listed in the stuff. Now we've got a thing with a W, second from the last, and he's listed on that. And I've got it, and what I've done is I've added it into and called it Chantry on my list because he was born there. But he really didn't live there. What happens is it says that he was born in Chantry, and the person that he wanted to notify in case of his death is in Chantry. Yeah. And so that I, saw the stuff, but it's where he lived, I don't know.
Well, I think he must have been still living at home because he had just, he was...
So when did the boy get married? This month, the end of this month? Yeah. Oh, that's good. Is that where she worked in Ottawa?
Bamboo gal. Gave him a ride and charged him $1 and my grandfather was outraged.
Yeah. Good.
Oh, Brett. That's good.
Oh, is that where he worked down there? Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Funny, Adam went to trade school down there after the first year, and he didn't like Ottawa.
I don't like
He didn't. I don't know. He's not, the boys never leave the farm. They hardly even go camping. But he lived downtown with some friends that he went to school with that worked there and going to school. And then gone from college lived on the West End, But
sent a wire back, and another one of their sisters moved up west too. So let's go west or west. And these are all the Western grandchildren. These are all the Western grandchildren that have been assembled to meet their grandmother, and that's Priscilla Smith. Who's buried right here. This is her grandmother.
Look at her grandchildren.
You can see that was many years ago. That our mom was still quite young then. You can see how overgrown.
That's what she was saying. That's what they came up against when they first started.
I think that may still be there. Scrivener's owned the property. The house was abandoned. We would go out there every weekend. We had an old house. We had sort of fixing the house up, especially all set up floors, cleaning them. Some kind of storage because we used to eat there. We said these communal meals. But I remember going to that cemetery at that time, and you could hardly walk in there to the brand.
1975.
Experience of getting that thing underway, and we certainly couldn't have done it without a lot of help, and of course donations from everyone. It takes money to do anything nowadays, but however, I am very proud of what we've done, and we had one foreman, foreign lady, I guess, I don't know what to call it, but she was fantastic. She controlled the whole program, and well, I said to her the other day, I said, you know something, Kim? There's one thing I found out about you. And she looked at me and she said, what's that? Well, I said, there's one phrase in the English language that you don't have. Well, what's that? She said. I said, that phrase is, that's good enough. It has to be just right. You know, back a little bit, back, oh, no, a little more. Good, that's perfect. So that was Kim, and I certainly enjoyed working with him. Okay, we're going to have a few speeches here. We have Linda Carr from Rideau Lakes Township. She's going to get up, and I know she's going to say a lot of things nice about me. And then after Linda, we have Gil Patterson, who has guided us all through this also, and he was a great help, especially when we were getting started and we didn't know where to go or what to do. He guided us, got us started, and then we were able to go from there. So, Linda, if you want to take over back there. There you go.
I didn't know whether I was supposed to stand up or sit down. Anyway, on behalf of Ron Holden, who's not here, I'm trying to fill his shoes, but Robert and I were told to be here, so we are here to extend our thankfulness for all the work that these people have done. It is just unbelievable. It is. It's just to see it at the very beginning and to see all the work that they've done. And the township put in some money, which you've used to the fullest, and it's great. Something which you people don't realize when I was only really high. My dad was always a good one to say, we've got to plant trees, we've got to plant trees. And I think I told you, May and Kim, those pine trees at the back there were planted by my dad and myself. Because he kept saying, we've got to plant those trees. So every cemetery around that's got pine trees, I think I had a part in that, because we had to plant trees. But it was kind of good because it didn't run into bush and stuff like that. But I think you had cut some of it too, didn't you? But that's okay.
Not many, just maybe a few limbs off, and yeah, but no, we didn't actually take any trees down, no.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's amazing how history repeats itself, because I did have a part in that cemetery, and we had to plant them. But to see that cemetery come alive again, and the work that's been done, and the hours, and I think, Kim, is that 700 hours?
Yes.
700 hours, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, when I hire someone to come and help me, they work for so long and then they have to have a break. Then they have to work so long and then they have to have a break. How many breaks did you get these people working for you, Kim?
Not many.
That's what I thought. Kim is probably a workaholic. Go, go, go. And I can just see you and Wayne out there saying, whoa, no, no, no. I'm surprised that Wayne didn't say anything back to you. He didn't?
No.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Anyway, again, I don't know where else to go, except the people that is in that cemetery must be looking down from heaven saying, thank you for you people to make this cemetery a place to remember, and all of the things, the memories and the stuff that's there, it's unreal. So I could go on, but I won't. Robert, do we have anything more to say?
Have you please for Neil was a great help to us at the start, well, at the finish too.
Thanks, Wayne. I am the chairman of the Abandoned Cemeteries Committee for the Township of Rideau Lakes. We have 32 abandoned cemeteries in Rideau Lakes. There are not many people other than the nucleus of people involved with us that know of all 32, but we have taken a tour and gone around and seen a lot of them. We are working on a lot of them. And we now have in the township 60 volunteers that are working on various cemeteries across the township. Now, I've got to tell you that we don't have any that work as hard as the people at the slice. There's 4 people there, and every time I went to that, there was one or the other down there cleaning or polishing or doing something at that cemetery for the last 2 years. And I'm just absolutely amazed at how much work they've done. But about 6 years ago, the Ministry of Consumer Services, through legislation that was passed by the Ontario government, made abandoned cemeteries the responsibility of municipalities. Now, I want you to just think about this for a moment. There are 32 of these abandoned cemeteries. You talk to Kim how much labor has gone into that cemetery that they've been working on that is now well, as Wayne says it's finished, but Linda doesn't. She's got 2 or 3 more things she wants to do. But figure that, and the amount of dollars that they've collected to go into putting things in there, gates, fences, the flower beds, all the stuff that has been done that they've collected for. Now multiply that times 32, and the ministry would suggest that the township is responsible for that. how much would that cost in taxes if that was done without volunteers? And as I say, we have 60 of them now. And of course, Wayne's committee is a model. And it's, as a matter of fact, Kim goes to the other committees and speaks to them now to help them out as to what she's done. Because much of it that was available for people to do, that I told them how to repair stones, what to do, how to drill them and put stainless steel pins in them and so on at the start. There were some stones that you can't do that because the stone wouldn't allow you at the age of the stone to drill, or it would break up. So they designed a shaft for each side that was in something that wouldn't rust and put it on them. They designed this, and a company in Rockville made them. Now, other cemeteries are going to that. This is beyond what the ministry had suggested, and that's come out of the work that was done at the Sly Ripley Cemetery. Now, the thing was that we had for years had the Ripley Cemetery there that was passed by the township of South Crosby as a heritage site. It's designated as a heritage site, as many of them are. And on research, we found out as to what has happened with that when it was the Anglican Church Cemetery. And across the road from it, there was originally a Ripley house, which was a stone house that sat there. And that house was taken over by the Anglican Church, or at that time the Church of England. And the minister lived there, and there was a chapel beside it. And believe me, I'm having a hard time now stopping these people. They want to rebuild that chapel and rebuild that house on somebody else's land. But, I mean, that's just the kind of energy and the effort that they do. But that, looking at the legalities and the search for the property in the land office as to how it's registered and what it is and where it is, what municipality had it and how, we have a lot of these. And as a matter of fact, we found that what's called the designated cemetery by Bastard and Burgess Township was really the Denny Cemetery, and they moved the stones that were not broken from 6 other cemeteries into it. And then the broken ones disappeared, and nobody knows where they went. But Bastard Township did that about 30 years ago, before legislation came to protect the cemeteries. We have other cemeteries that are being looked after by families. There's 2 in North Crosby, the Myers and the Palmer. The families that live on those farms that was originally the Myers Cemetery and originally Palmer, but they have a lot of other people in them. Those families still look after those 2 cemeteries that are up on the mountain in Western. We found others that, for instance, we just had a call not too long ago, and several of us went to see the stones and pick the stones up, and it was the Johnston Cemetery. And it was located somewhere between here and Phillsville. And the fellow that called us to get them was at a flood out of his well with all the rains, and he had a hand-dug well. And when he opened it up and started to see what he could do with it, the liner in it was all the tombstones from the Johnston Cemetery. Frank Phelan at Queen's University Biology Station has found one of the stones that belonged to one of the Doyles that was buried at the Chafee's Lock Cemetery. And it was used to level a barn, where the barn started to, the stones were sinking, and they raised the barn up a little, and they put the Doyle tombstone in, which was nice and flat and the right size to hold it. Well, he found that when they took the old barn down, and we've got it back in the Chafee Cemetery. We're finding more and more of these things. And we've got a fellow here that's with us today, and I don't see him. Oh, there he is, right there. Mr. Sly has been doing a great deal of work on the soldiers that are buried in the cemeteries around here that actually served in the War of 1812. We're finding more and more of them. But in many cases, we find people that served in the War of 1812 that died here and were buried, and we've got the record of them, but now their stones are gone. We don't know where they are. People pick them up. People actually steal some stones. And what they do with them, it's hard to say. But we're lucky to have people like the committees that we've got, like the Sly Ripley Cemetery Committee, that are doing so much work. And believe me, they are saving the taxpayers of the municipality of Rideau Lake a lot of dollars. We have 60 of these volunteers now working, and probably in a couple of years it'll be up to 100, with these people that actually go out and work in these cemeteries and do this, and have a great deal of pride in what they're doing. And I'd like to say that thanks to your committee, Wayne, and they've done an absolutely fantastic job. And they're really a model for everybody else down the road as to what can be done and how it can be done. And I really appreciate the effort. Thank you very much.